Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's Friday. It's good to see everybody. I'm here with Liz from it's the Liz Olive Show. Is that right? Did I say that right? Okay,
Yep.
great. Yep, great. And I've been watching you, on Bryce's shows for quite a while. And then I know you've been on TikTok and all that stuff. So we'll get into all that, but I just want to introduce you to everybody. So please say hello.
Hey. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great. I'm so glad we were able to connect. Bryce connected us, of course. She's really good at that kind of thing.
She's a great connector. She's like the connector of the truther world, I think. I've been so surprised by how many people she's like, oh yeah, we'll do a video with them where you can talk to them. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah,
but I think that just speaks volumes of this community that we are all creating, because it's like no one's, too famous or like has too much of a following to, talk to the little guys or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, even like Charlie Ward, back when I started doing things on TikTok, he found me, or his son Justin found me and was like, look, Dad, someone's talking about you. This young girl's talking about you. And he's like, oh my gosh, amazing. And he messaged me on TikTok, was like, thank you so much for all you're doing. And I was like, is this really him? Like, I was like, I wasn't sure. So just to kind of test it, I was like, thanks so much, Charlie. Like, I watch you all the time. I'd love to come on your show and talk to you, because I honestly just wanted to have a conversation with him.
Great.
Didn't really care what came of it afterwards, but I was just like, I like the message this man is actually, giving to people. People get so caught up on intel, but I just really appreciate the hope that he brings everyone. He's keeping everybody sane, and that is so important right now. But yeah, like like even him, he's always saying like, everybody is an important piece of the puzzle. Like no one's more important than anyone else. And I think that's a perfect example of the world that we're going into. Because it's been so hierarchy and the opposite for so long.
Right, we put people on pedestals and that they're the experts and not trusting ourselves.
He's at like 19 or almost 19 million people now, like subscribe to his website. Yeah, it's insane. And he still will answer my emails if I just ask him a question or whatever. And it's like, this is amazing. Like, this is exactly how it should be. But Bryce I got in contact with Bryce through Charlie, getting all the people that he was connected to do a happy birthday video for Mr. T. And I was in the video, and then she saw me, and she was the one that put it all together. And then that's how we got connected. And then from there, she connected me to Tom. She connected me to so many other people. But yeah, she's awesome. I love her. Her energy is great. She's always trying to connect people and promote people. She's been a great promoter of my t-shirt Etsy line. And she has like so many of my shirts. I'm like, I can just send you one at this point. Like, you don't have to pay for them. You're promoting me enough. Like,
that's awesome. Yes. Well, that's great.
But yeah, she's great. I love her.
Yeah, a lot of great people that are kind of like a little bit maybe ahead of us that are helping. So that's very true. Yes. Yeah,
it's awesome. And it's like, it's great because then we all can share our little piece of the puzzle. Because we all know in part. It's like she knows so many things that I definitely do not know, but there are so many things that we also really connect on and understand also. But then she brings another piece into it, and I bring another piece into it, and it's awesome. I love it.
Right. Yeah, when I talk to her too, it's always like I write stuff down because I'm like, oh, I need to go research that.
Right. Especially all of her, all of her knowledge on like the Law of One and the Yoga Sutras and the books of the Bible. Like, my goodness.
Yes.
She's got so much information on all of those, just reading through them. And if I ever have time or if I just want to listen to something, I always just like play one of her deep dives into the different books of the Bible, or the missing books and whatnot. But yeah.
Right, yeah. I have so many videos of her saved that I want to go back and look at later.
Yeah. Yeah. She is pumping it out. She's made it into a full-time job. She's doing great. Like,
yes.
I applaud her very much for it.
Yes, me too. Yep. Fantastic. That's awesome. So I'm glad we were able to connect and get together here. So so tell me about your TikTok that you've been I'm not on TikTok, so I don't.
Yeah. Yay. He lined up some cars, so he's saying good job. Go do it again. Go do it again. So I started my TikTok on a whim because I had Levi right literally like a few weeks before lockdown. I'm helping get you right now, baby. Come over here. He's like, get you? He wants me to chase him.
Oh, no.
I'm like, no, not right now. But yeah, so I started it as just on a whim because I needed an outlet because I just became a mother. The world was insane. And you're thrown into motherhood and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing at all. And then having the world looking so different on top of it, it was just like my sense of security was completely out the window. And I could not find any creative outlet other than just like, I love making videos because like I've said before, like I, went to film school and everything. And so I was just kind of telling stories about my family and about being, a new mother, and also my husband's from Mozambique. So I have the multicultural relationship on top of it, which is very interesting to people. So I was just kind of doing that and started to get some following just from that. And then when the world kind of went crazy, it was actually on, I'll try to be as covert saying this as I can, but it was on the day after January 5th.
Gotcha.
That I was like, I need to say something. This is just dumb at this point. The fact that people are buying into this nonsense, because I remember watching that event happen on Twitter, on someone's just regular Twitter live streaming it, and then watching MSN, and I was like, this does not match at all. Like I was watching it in real time because I was home, and I was just like, what in the world? And so I just like needed to say something. So I started saying something. And then, I got a lot of hate not from it, because TikTok is what I call the wild, wild west of the internet. Because your videos, the way the algorithm works is your videos get sent out to a small pool of people in the beginning. And it could be people that have liked similar type of videos, but then if it does well and it gets traction, then it goes out to even more and even more and even more. And it's not just like subscriber or follower based, it's like anyone. So yeah, so you get a lot of everything, a lot of contradicting types of views on there. So it's a great way of advertising, I say, because it reaches so many more people than any other platform. But you have to have tough skin on that one, because you got people in your comments, that are for it, that are against it, that are whatever. And someone commented and said, "You're a trumpet, I'm out of here," meaning like I follow Mr. T kind of thing. And I was like, it just like kind of clicked in my mind, and I was like, you know what, I am. I am. Okay. Like, I don't even care. And it was kind of like challenge accepted type of thing that went off in my mind. And from then I just started kind of like just being very gentle about how I said stuff, but just kind of posing questions. And then at one point I said something about Charlie, and I was like, he's a great person to follow if you want hope in this crazy time. And that's the video that he saw. And it was so funny because it was just on a whim, and then it literally launched me into everything else.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, it was just one of those like intuition moments where I was just like, I feel like I need to say something about him on
Right.
TikTok, just because I enjoy following him and I enjoy what he says and what he,
Right.
shares and everything. And so I did, and that's literally what kind of launched everything off.
Yeah.
Just a very like, not like, I was just like barely edited, nothing, like I was just talking to the camera. I was just like, go follow Charlie Ward, he's great, kind of thing. And it's just funny that something that small like literally put my life in a totally different direction.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And so since then I've just been I've been I started out kind of getting people to just question things. Like I would just like, do you know about this? Have you heard about this? Why would this be happening?
Right.
And it draws people in and gets them interested. And then it never answers the question for them and makes them go look for it themselves, which opens the door for everything, the rabbit hole.
All the rabbit holes.
The ever expanding rabbit hole.
Right.
And yeah, so I started doing that, and then I said this on a video with Bryce when last week or whatever, and I had like I ended up having a miscarriage, so I ended up just started promoting other people. I was just like, just go follow them, they said this, because I was just
Right.
not in a headspace to like even focus on it.
Sure.
So it's kind of gone in different directions, but originally it's been just to kind of get people to think, and hopefully like people in my age group, in my generation, to start actually thinking about things and not so blindly following the cultural norms and
Right.
what's trending and all that.
Right.
And it really made me sad that so many of my friends were just so blindly following everything and just playing along with the narrative. I was just like, are you kidding me? Are you
Right.
kidding me right now?
Right.
So that was another, reason that it kind of pushed me to continue to do what I've been doing for months now. Just because I was just like, I need to at least be an example and like at least do what feels right for me.
Mhm.
Because I feel like no one in my friend group, age, whatever, is doing that, and it's
Right.
really annoying.
Right. That's good for you. That's so
Yeah.
brave and courageous. That's awesome.
Well,
That
it's
you're
funny
doing
because
that.
I've always been a different kind of rebel.
Mhm.
I never did anything growing up that was like quote unquote rebellious. Like I never drank, did drugs, smoked, nothing, like snuck out. I never did any of that. But
Mhm.
I always had a rebellious like mindset of questioning the things that have, we've been told like we should do, or
Yeah.
you have to do this, or I'm like, why do I have to do that? Like,
Right.
who are you to tell me to do that? Like,
That's
I
true.
very much like, in a way, it's kind of like questioning authority, but like questioning it when it doesn't feel right, not just questioning it to question it,
Right.
um, when it feels manipulative and controlling and that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, so it's just funny because I've been that way my entire life, and I grew up in a very charismatic um, household. I went to like a very charismatic church. It was like
Mhm.
non-denominational, but like we were all into like the prophetic and whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, and I was prophesied over by this one guy that was like, someone that everybody like believed his prophecies kind of thing. He was always like, he said to me once, he was like, she's going to be a Joan of Arc for her generation. And I was like, so now like doing all this, I'm like,
There
it
you
makes so
go.
much sense. Like, I hope I don't have to die at the stake. I mean, if I do, I'm fine. But,
All of us
I,
truthers will be there for you, though. We'll help
yeah, I
you.
mean, we're kind of dying daily with like people commenting and like all the, you know, easily accessed hate that you get from stating your beliefs, but I honestly don't get it that much anymore. After now that this is my 4th TikTok channel.
Is it really? Oh my gosh.
I've been taken down 3 times. This is the 4th one, and I found that the only way to stay up is to turn off the comments, because I was trying to on YouTube also, if you start getting people, you know, blatantly saying things in your comments, turning them off helps the algorithm not pick up what you're saying.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you.
Yep. Yep, you know, trial and error. So I've stayed afloat now for a few months because I've turned off the comments, because people like to just blatantly say what I'm trying to allude to, and then I guess the wording is picked up by the algorithm, and then your video gets banned. So
okay, understand.
So I don't get as much hate anymore because people aren't commenting on my stuff.
Well, that's good.
I mean, my comments are turned on YouTube because I don't have as much of a following yet, but I might have to on some of the videos. We'll see.
Right, depending on what you say and how controversial or whatever. Right. Gotcha.
So yeah, that's kind of a long answer to my TikTok.
Oh, you're fine. Okay.
It's really funny starting to do videos like this because you start to realize how long-winded you are. I'm like, man, I could talk for hours apparently.
No, that's okay. You have a lot to share. That's all right.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I just have been so quiet most of my life, and even people that I trust, like I go to a home group. I don't go to a church anymore. I go to like a small group of people on Sundays.
I've done that too. We've done home groups before.
Yeah. And it's amazing. And they are very interested in what I have to say and what I think. And for so long, I was just like, no, like, I don't want to share. Like, but they could see it in me that there was something there, and they like the way I think about things and you know, have discovered and all that stuff.
Great.
My child just walked in with a bucket on his head wearing my boots.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Oh, and I think my underwear is around his neck. Oh my gosh. This is motherhood, guys.
That's right. Never a dull moment.
Oh my goodness.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Yeah. He's gonna steal the show.
Yeah, he usually does. Everybody loves Levi.
Yes. Oh. That's so cute. Anyways. Oh my goodness. So anyway, then you've been doing videos with Bryce then for quite a while, I think, right? I've watched
for the last year or so, just off and on.
Right.
Yeah, she's been super great. She's been encouraging me to start a YouTube channel since then, and I was like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if I have time.
Right.
But honestly, since my son's gotten older, it's getting a little easier. So
sure.
That's one reason I've kind of branched out. Do you need some water? Sure.
Okay.
Come on, Bubba.
Oh.
But yeah, so yeah.
So how long have you had your Etsy shop then?
Since oh, my child's freaking out. What is it, baby? No, not right now, honey. Come here. Do you want these? Sorry.
That's okay, you're fine.
So I've had my Etsy shop. Come here, Bubba. He's having a little meltdown. Come here, baby. Come here. So I've had my Etsy shop since technically July of last year. But I didn't really start really working on it since until August, because I was still working at my dance studio job, and yeah, so I taught ballroom dance before Levi was here. Yeah. Aww. And then I ended up like my boss wanted me to stick around, and so I did like admin work and took Levi with me to work with me.
Oh, I bet that was challenging.
Oh yeah, for like 17 months. And
Oh,
and I was like, he grew up in a ballroom dance studio, basically. Like his baby time was in a studio, which is
right.
kind of cool. Like he started
Yeah.
dancing very early, and he has very good rhythm and
Hmm.
everything. So it's, I think it's beneficial to him. But
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
loves people now. He'll say hi to everyone, like adult, kid, like he just notices everyone. It's the cutest thing. He's very different than what they call pandemic babies,
Yeah.
because he's super social.
Uh-huh.
And it's because took him to work during that time instead of
Right.
like staying inside and not doing anything.
Right.
Because we didn't I mean, they closed down for the initial time, but then after that 6 weeks they were open. So um
Right.
anyways, so
Yeah,
I
and he'll have a
started.
story to tell when he's older. I
Oh
grew up
yeah.
in a dance
Yeah,
studio.
I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a dancer or a drummer, because he's already drumming on everything, and he can
Oh,
hold a beat really well. It's amazing.
that's great.
um yeah, but I started it because I was like we all are, waiting for everything to happen,
Right.
um waiting for the world to change. And
Exactly.
I was very much in a victim mindset of when this happens, it'll be so much better because then I can stay home and not have to take him to work. Um, and I, I, I said this on the video I did with Bryce and Catherine yesterday, but I saw a video where this lady was talking about, if you feel like you're stuck in the same loop and you can't get out, like if you don't like what you're or where you are in life and you want to level up, essentially
Hmm.
start telling yourself, when you start complaining, that I'm choosing this.
Oh, I
And
watched
I
that
was like,
video.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you watched that one.
Yeah, the one that you
Yeah,
did. Yeah, that was really
okay, yeah.
good.
And it's just amazing because that small thing changed everything. Because then I started to ask the question, why am I choosing this? Like, I don't
Right.
actually have to choose this.
Right.
I could do something different. And so that's kind of, I've designed, like I have books from when I was like 7 years old of like drawings of clothes that I,
Oh, wow.
wanted to make. I love designing clothes and everything. So I
Hmm.
was like, I can start, I could like do t-shirts or like graphic design kind of thing.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
yeah, so I started doing that and I was like, ooh, this looks really good. This looks really good. And it's a way of being able to express myself creatively, while putting meanings into like the things that I think about and the things that I have learned, putting it physically onto something, to
Right.
where it has meaning and people will ask questions.
Hmm.
Um, and it's been super powerful for me.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it's like you're sharing truth in your own way.
yeah, I'm
That's really
planting
cool.
my seeds in my own way.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so, and that's just been a theme of my entire life, is just like a seed planter. I I
Hmm.
never felt comfortable evangelizing. I never felt comfortable like throwing Bible verses down people's like throats.
Right.
I hated all of that, because in my mind, if they're in a place where they want that, then they will search it out. And it's something that I kind of like knew from an early age.
Uh-huh.
Like it's started to look differently as I've gotten older, um but yeah, I find it so fun to put mystery into it. um and to think of concepts, and I'm like, how would I display that on a t-shirt? Like
Right.
it's
Right.
a fun challenge.
Hmm.
I recently just did a shirt that has four, like an outline of the side of I guess it's a woman's body, and it's like four of them lined up.
Hmm.
Because I've been really interested lately in the concept of timelines and dimensions, and
Hmm.
this idea that we exist on multiple dimensions and timelines simultaneously. And I think the goal is to be aware of that at some point. Like, as we grow spiritually and evolve and whatnot, I think that we will become more aware of where we actually are and how we have and how we are actually on different dimensions and timelines simultaneously. Because I heard when I was in LA, this teacher that I went to his church. It was like on a Saturday night because he's Hebraically minded, and he's from Nigeria, but he's a Nigerian Jew.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and he just taught more kingdom-minded things and from the Hebrew and all of that, and it just resonated with me so much. And one thing he said that's stuck in my brain for years now is, people think that Jesus, all the stories that we have of Jesus happened chronologically. But he was like, they all happened all at once, because Jesus was essentially able to time travel, shift dimensions, be in multiple places at multiple times. Like, he's like, we've limited it so much. Right. And I was like, that makes so much more sense. Like, it just does. Like, something in me was just like, yeah, that makes way more sense than he was just one like man, like we think of a man. Right. Because, the goal is to be like him. And if he's like a man in our mindset, that's not really a goal for me. Like, we're supposed to do things, we're supposed to do even greater than he does. But I think what he did was, we're not even close to that, what he did, because I think he was aware of his multiple bodies and multiple dimensions and all these different stories we have of the same kind of happenings are different people experiencing him all at the same time in different timelines, dimensions, whatever. Right. Like, I love thinking about it like that.
Yeah. And then another thing, a part of that too is like, I was looking through the Bible the other day, and it was like, it's like, where are all of his missing years? Like, from when he was 12 to a young adult. It's like, there's all that time missing.
Yeah, there's so much time missing. Come here.
Yeah, so there's so much we don't know. I mean, we know just a little part of it, but
right, exactly. There's so little we know about him.
Right.
So much that's been hidden from us. That but yeah, that's kind of like, I put that on a t-shirt because that's what that represented.
Okay, that's fascinating. Yeah.
So these designs really do have a lot of meaning, of meaning behind them, and they're open, for interpretation. But that's what my intention when I designed them.
Great.
Yeah. So that's
great. Yeah. A lot of great designs on there. I looked last night. Yeah, a lot of really nice designs. I'm hoping to get one soon. But that's great.
Let me know what you do, and I'll give you like a discount code or something.
Oh, you're sweet. Oh, that's
that's kind of the problem of having my own shop, is I love giving people things. So I'm like, wait, I actually have to like make this a money thing and not like just be like, oh, I can give all these things away. Like I already did a giveaway on my YouTube channel after I hit 500.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, I think I'm gonna do this periodically, maybe like 1,000. Right. And now I'm already up to like 700 and something. I'm like, oh, this is gonna come quicker than I thought, maybe. Yeah. But that's my love language. So I love giving and I love getting. So
Oh, wonder, that's great. That's wonderful. Yeah, I love how you ask people questions. That's probably what I should be doing more of, because I was going to ask you about how long you've been awake and how you wake other people up. So share what you have there.
Just honestly, I feel like the best way to wake people up is by just asking them questions, or just kind of being like, it doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. and then they try like, and then you pose it to where they have to answer it, and then they can't.
Right. Yeah.
I never like try to be like, well, this says this and this does this, and if you do this, blah, 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 because that never, people just turn off, like completely turn off their brain when you do that. But I mean, is that Dada? You see a picture of Dada? I say that I kind of came into this world more awake than most.
Right.
Just because like the spirit realm, yeah, that's Mama too, Mama and Dada. Just because the spirit realm has always been very real to me. And like Bryce was saying on the show yesterday, she noticed that with me, I kind of got the point of this whole war before like early on.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've always known that it's always been a spiritual battle, that it's not just this political thing, like they're not separate. Because growing up, I would see angels, demons, beings, whatever, all the time, like to the extent where I would be terrified of it when I was younger. Wow. And for a moment in time, I shut it off. I like was like, I don't want to see it anymore. Like I'm done. Sure. And then like ninth grade, I kind of like asked God to like turn it back on, kind of thing. I was like, I'm ready to see it again. And ever since then I have. But I feel much more powerful in it now. Like I don't feel like a victim to it anymore.
Well, that's good that you're able to see it differently.
Yeah, and honey. But it's just kind of one of those things that like, I mean, I wanted to be an actor when I was younger, but I didn't want to be an actor for the reason of just like being in the industry and to get famous and everything. I wanted to like change Hollywood, is how I used to say it was, because I had a heart for the people, like the artist. And it's changed over the course of my life and as I've grown and know what I know now. And but I always knew that I was like born for something super important, and I always felt this like heavy responsibility of being the best version of myself that I could be. Like it was like I was aware that I came into this world and like all of this chaos and destruction, and I knew that it wasn't right. And I don't know why. Like it was just like something was there, has always been there, that I knew that this was not the best that God had for us. And so that's kind of like that inner knowing has been like a very strong theme in my life, because I like never wanted to do the typical things that, you know, people in their teens do. I was just like, no, I know that does something spiritually, like I don't want to be a part of it. And so yeah, I feel like I just kind of always been a version of awake. Like it's grown since, obviously. And then it's super, come here, it's super relieving to Baba. What is wrong, sweetheart? Sorry. He's having a good time.
Poor guy. Oh
my goodness. Come here. It's super relieving when things started to actually happen, because I was like, oh, people are finally getting on the same page.
Yay!
Like people are finally realizing that like this is real, like all the like the spiritual war, and it's relating to every ounce of our life in the sense of like politics and entertainment and you know,
education and yeah.
So it's one of those things, it's like, you know, it's like you feel like a loner for so long, and then finally people start to um get on board, and it's actually exciting. um
Right.
but yeah, I feel like I've been awake most of my life, if not my
That's
whole
great.
life,
Right.
in some aspect of it. And I guess we all are in some ways because we all know in part, but
Right.
um
Right.
I think as a child, waking up like or being awake early is a little bit harder than like waking up in your adult life, because
Right.
there's so much expectation on children to be a certain way, and I just never was. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I just never cared about the childish things.
Mm-hmm.
um and except for like creativity, I mean, like, you have to be childlike. I would say
Right.
being childlike is different than being childish.
Yeah, there is a difference.
So
You're right.
so I think that I was always into being childlike but not childish.
Mm-hmm.
um and it's like they were saying on the show yesterday, like, I definitely am an old soul. So
Mm-hmm.
like fitting into friend groups and whatnot was never easy. I just kind of learned to just mask myself and just learn how to fit in and just not talk about things that I actually believed and thought. And
Right. I'm
so
right
now
there with you.
doing yeah, so now doing this is super out of character and strange for what I've been like most of my life.
Right.
Um, because people never knew that I looked into stuff like this and had such an opinion. And it's like in the astrological world, I just have started to like look into like what my like zodiac sign is and everything, and I'm an Aries, and I'm
Okay.
like supposed to be like the fiery kind of person that has super strong opinions and like, that kind of thing. And I'm like, I am, but like as a means of survival, I have like snuffed out my flame in a sense
Right.
around certain
Understand.
people.
Yeah.
um so it's been super freeing because this time has really like I've given myself permission, and the people I've been connecting to, like Bryce, have basically given me permission to share. And
Great. Great.
it's a little easier on YouTube because you're just talking to one person.
Right.
And people are watching, and it's not like I'm standing in front of thousands of people talking about it.
Great.
But it is kind of getting me more comfortable in sharing what I actually think and feel and believe. And um so yeah, it's been super healing and freeing. Like, I never
Oh,
thought
good.
that this would be a healing tool, but it is.
Right.
uh
Yeah,
you know
exactly. Yeah.
just putting myself out there and putting my creative stuff out there also. So but
Right.
yeah, so I kind of feel like the best way to wake people up definitely is to just plant the seeds. Like, it's not your job to save them. It's
Right. Oh,
God's.
yeah. Yeah,
uh
definitely.
it's
Yeah, we've been
yeah, it's
taught
one of
that.
those.
Yeah, we've been taught that, by the church that we've got to save everybody. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like you. I never was, I mean, you're taught to evangelize, but it's like I just never felt comfortable,
Right.
doing
Yeah.
that. So it's hard
Yeah.
because you just, but I like the idea of planting seeds and asking questions and building
Yeah.
relationships with people and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So that's important for sure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I just feel like the more you care about people, the more they'll care about what you actually have to say.
right.
um, or there's that saying that, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes, I was just
That's
thinking that
my
same
favorite
thing.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
Same
I feel like we
phrase.
probably were raised very similarly and in the same kind of circles, probably.
Right, right. But yeah, I was raised Catholic, so
Oh, okay.
the first 25 years of my life, I was, Catholic, and then my husband and I got married there, and we
Oh,
had
okay.
a rough experience with the actual wedding and the priest that married us. That's a whole nother story. But
Oh,
so
wow.
then we left there and we're searching for churches. So I've been in different, denominations or whatever, and now we're in more of
Yeah.
a Pentecostal, kind of a
Okay.
prophetic kind of church
Gotcha.
now. So yeah, so
Gotcha.
I've kind of come a long way from All
Yeah,
that
I'd say so.
indoctrination,
Right,
and not nothing against people that are Catholic, but just my own
right,
experience. It felt like a cult to me. It was
right. It
just the
just feels
control.
a lot heavier. I don't know if it is, but like when I think of like Catholicism, it just feels so much heavier
Yes,
than
that's a good way
than
to say
like
it.
charismatic. I mean, it's all part of the system in its own kind of way, which is why we kind of have gotten out of it. And
Right.
amazingly, because I married my husband
Hmm.
and grew up going to church every Sunday, like,
Right.
and then I married him and he was just like, I don't really want to go today. And I was like, you don't? Like, I was like, oh, okay. He's like, he was just like, we don't have to go every Sunday. And I was like, we don't? Like, okay,
Why?
great. Like, sweet. Get
Right.
away out of this. Like, because he grew up in a very he grew up as a part of a ministry. I don't know if you know of Iris Ministries.
Mm-mm.
Um yeah, it's a really big global ministry that like feeds, the hungry and heals and all that kind of stuff. And
Right.
the main lady that runs it is she's really big around the world, and she has a plant, like a main home is in Mozambique, and she has like a children's home. And my husband wasn't an orphan or anything, but he helped out with her missions, like into the, like what they call the bush in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
And he knows like 10 languages, so he would translate for
Wow.
her when she would preach
Uh-huh.
to these unreached people groups. And so he grew up in a very also charismatic
Hmm.
kind of world of God,
Right.
I'd
Right.
say. And but it didn't affect him as much as it does like here in the West for most of us, I think, because his relationship with God was his relationship with God, and he didn't need anybody to help facilitate it. Like,
Right. Understand.
um, which was very freeing for me. I was like, oh, you're right. Like, I don't need to go to church to have a relationship with God. I can just have a relationship with him. Like,
Right. Right.
like I can be around like-minded people without actually being in a church.
Hmm.
So
Right.
yeah, it was super freeing. And it's just one of those ways that you kind of wake up in your own way, because you're like, oh, you think differently. I didn't know that that was allowed. Like, I didn't know that I could think that way. So thank
Imagine
you
that. Yeah.
for bringing that to light.
Right.
um,
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting, because for me it's like, and I've learned over the years, it's like, the church, is the building, and it was, this religion or whatever, and then you go
Hmm.
through it and you're like, no, the church is not the building, and no, it's not the organization, and no, it's, the church
Right.
is the body of Christ throughout the world, to
Right.
love
Which is all of
others.
us.
Yes,
Like,
all of
we
us.
are the church.
All
Like,
right.
we are the temple. Like, our bodies
Exactly.
are. Yep,
Right.
exactly.
Right. So yeah,
I'm
it's a whole journey, a process of going from looking at it this way to like, wow. So it's taken me a while, but I've gotten there. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
right.
a it's a process. I mean, getting out of religion I don't know
Yes,
how else to say it, is hard.
it
Um,
is.
because you don't want to be wrong. And
Right.
that is the problem, I feel like, with religion, is this
Hmm.
concept of being wrong.
Yes.
um I think that it's not so black and white. Like, over the last couple of years, I've been kind of like searching for truth everywhere, and I've gotten into things that a lot of Christians are scared of. And I'm like, the devil didn't create anything. So
Right.
everything that exists in this world, there is a form of truth in it somewhere.
Oh,
There's a
good point.
form, like, all the enemy can do is take something and twist it.
Right.
So if you twist it back around again, you'll find
Hmm.
out what the truth is.
Right.
It's even like astrology, like, the Bible, the people read the stars to know the times and the seasons. That's exactly what it is. But
Right.
because the Bible has been changed so much and
Hmm.
translated, not just language wise, but culturally wise, like from Aramaic or Hebrew to Greek
Right.
to Western world,
Right.
it's like, it's just like a tiny drip of what it actually is saying. Because I mean, even in the Hebrew language, it's like one letter can have 70 different meanings.
Is that right? I didn't
So
know
there's,
that.
yes, so
Oh
there's
my.
so much that we are missing, so
Yes.
much.
Oh my
And
goodness.
like, it's insane. That's why it's like, it's, I love thinking about it because you never stop learning, because there's
Right.
always more to learn. There's always a different perspective and a way to see things. And
Mm-hmm.
I've started to find, like, I can't not find truth in things that people are afraid of nowadays.
Oh,
And I
good.
feel like,
Yeah.
that just is a testament of like my relationship to God, in a sense that, like, because I've focused on him,
Hmm.
I can't not see him in everything.
Right.
It's like, I kind of talked about this on my YouTube channel a few videos back, and it was like, someone that's studying rare coins doesn't look at the counterfeit coin to know what's real. They look at the real thing, and then
Right.
they know, when they look through a pile of coins, they're like, oh, that one's real, that one's real.
Hmm.
They're not like, this one's wrong, this one's wrong, this one's wrong, this one's wrong. They
Right.
just find the real.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the way that we should be going about it, especially because we don't have all the things that we should have access to, like the 770 books of the Bible.
Right.
I think that we should be looking in other places for him,
Right.
and for what's truth and good, and not be so focused on the bad.
Yeah.
Because
No, that's a really good
it
point. Yeah.
does
Going
no
forward.
good. It does
Yeah.
nothing.
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
Going forward, that's important to remember. I like that analogy of the coins. That's a good one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's if you're focused on what's real, then you'll find what's real. If you're focused on what's evil, you'll find what's evil. It's
Yes.
just setting your focus on something else. You know,
Right.
so that's been
Right.
super freeing in my journey recently, or over at least the last, I'd say, like 3 or 4 years now. But yeah,
Right.
and yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I've been looking a lot into the gematria, which is it's fascinating because at first when I started doing
Mhm.
it, I was like, I don't know, this is kind of, weird. Is this new age, kind of thing. I was like, okay, Lord,
Yeah.
if this is of you, I want to do this. So now I'm just like, I just can't stop doing it. It's just fascinating, and looking into
Isn't
it.
it isn't it 351 is all of the letters added up, and then 351 also says God communicates through numbers? Isn't that a
Yes,
thing?
yes, yes. It's like you look at
Uh,
the more you
I
look at
was
it.
in the negative. I was in the -8 world of -48 world,
That's right.
for a few months, and then when my miscarriage happened, I kind of just stepped back from everything. But
Right,
yeah, it was great. I mean, I loved what he was saying and talking about, and I was
right.
resonating with it a lot, and I see numbers everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those ways of communication. I mean,
Yes. It's been
I think
hidden.
there's so many different ways that like limiting God to just speaking through like the Bible,
Right,
or church leaders or
right.
pastors or prophetic people, is limiting. Like,
Exactly. Putting God in a
it's
box.
exactly, and it's like, the box is there for a reason, but we're supposed to grow beyond it. It's supposed to
Right.
be a foundation, not something we're stuck in.
Mhm.
um I yeah. I think
Yeah.
that, I mean, it's funny because people get really like offended about like tarot cards and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, I haven't really like dove into it that much, but I watched Janine,
Yeah, me
and
too.
I love Janine,
Yeah,
and
she's a
just because I
sweetheart.
love her positivity, and I love
Yes.
her I get a good feeling from her.
Right.
I don't get a good feeling with everybody that
Right.
reads tarot, and
Right.
if I don't get a good feeling, then I don't watch it or listen to it.
Mhm.
But I used to, when I was younger, I used to have my iPad or iPod and have like music on it, and I would just click through it. I'd be like, okay, God, what do you want to tell me? And just click through until I felt like I should stop. And then whatever song it landed on, I was like, this is what he wants to tell me. And I was like, what is the difference between that and a tarot card? Like, really, what is the
Right.
difference?
That's
It's like,
true.
it's using another external device to communicate with him.
Right.
And I think at some point, like, we'll move beyond that where we
Right.
don't have to use anything external.
Mhm.
But until then, we have tools
Right.
that
That's a good
will
way to
lead
look at
us.
it. Yeah, that
It's,
they're
the
tools.
same with prophecy, the same with the Bible, the same with, anything like that. Like, I mean, the Bible is translated through a man. So what's the difference between someone translating through a man the word of God, and then
Right.
someone getting the word of God through tarot cards and translating it that way? Like, it's the same
Right.
thing.
No, we've been taught that those
I
things
just
are evil and bad, and and it's like it's all part of the system, trying to keep us away
right,
from things. And so yeah, I'm
right.
open to learning about it too. And I've not done
Yeah,
much with it either, but you
yeah.
know,
I'm just like, it's not my like go-to tool, because I feel like
right.
the way I hear from him, or like, it's following my instincts and following my intuition. It's like I just have this like feeling inside, and I usually go for it. Like, I
Hmm.
usually go with whatever that is, because I have learned to trust it. Didn't used to, but
Same,
now
yeah, same here.
I don't have, yeah. Now I just don't feel like I have to use as many external things um
Right.
to communicate, because I feel like our body is meant to be the communication tool. But that's a whole other topic.
Oh, another rabbit hole.
A whole other one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the one thing I remember Janine saying, I think maybe it was her or somebody else. Like, I listen to so many people that get confused, but it's like the intention. What's the intention of what's being used?
Exactly.
Is it being
Right.
used for good
It's I
or
mean, in the
evil?
Bible, it's always like, what's your heart?
Right.
The intention of the heart, it's the exact same
Exactly.
thing. And so many people that say that they've heard from God. So this is something I've learned, that this amazing teacher that have you heard of Ian Clayton?
Huh.
He's a great kingdom minded teacher, and it's funny because he like doesn't look into conspiracy theory things, but all of
Okay.
the things he talks about are very conspiracy theory based, and he gets it from God, essentially.
Right.
But one thing he talked about was the voice of God is in the same place as your, like, what he calls familiar spirits, or like inner demons kind of thing. So like, if you don't learn to quiet those down, then they can sound like God.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
Right.
you have to learn to discern which one's which, basically.
Right.
Um,
Right.
So, blah.
Oh.
He is so needy right now. He's
Oh.
doing good, but he's still kind of needy. Can
Right.
we say hi?
Hi.
He's like, I'm
so
not used
cute.
to Mama talking to people 2 days in a row.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
He's just laying down on me.
Oh.
He's a very I call him a very aggressive mama's boy.
Right.
He's so attached to me, like in
Oh.
such a way that, because I'm like the only one ever here with him usually, because my husband works all the time, but
Right. Right.
but yeah, he's very attached.
Oh.
It's all right.
That's okay.
He's not even 2 yet, so he can be.
That's right. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
He'll be 2 on February 22nd, 2022.
Oh, really? Oh my
On a
gosh.
Tuesday.
All those twos.
Yeah. Did you know that date, there's apparently something astrologically that is happening where Pluto is making its return to the US. I don't really know exactly what that means.
Oh, okay.
But
I
the
did hear
last
that.
time that happened for the US was 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Yes, I
That was
did.
the
Who else
last
said
time.
that? Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing
And
that.
I was like, that is so cool. Like, I don't know what that means, but it's so cool.
But well, then Mr. T's Truth Social is supposed to come out
The day
February
before.
21st, the day before.
And that's President's Day.
Right.
There's so many things.
Cool.
It's one of those things, like, I don't know if, we can guess all we want, but
I know.
It's fun to guess sometimes.
It is. It's fun. Yes. Lots of fun to guess for sure. Yeah. Oh, well, great. Oh, well, fun. All right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
This
All right.
one.
No worries.
This one.
Oh my
doing?
goodness. Well, this was fun. This was great
Yeah.
fun. I really enjoyed this. I probably should let you
Yeah,
go.
me
You've
too.
got things to do, and I probably do
Yeah.
too. So
He's probably just not gonna last much longer.
right.
Can only keep him content for so long.
That's okay. No problem. That's all right. We can wrap it up here. So this is great. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we?
No, just thanks for having me. I love talking to new people, especially like-minded people that are, trying to do a similar thing and get it. And
Yes.
We should do it again.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it again. Yeah, we could maybe do some roundtables or something with people. So that'd be fun.
For sure. Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, everybody, take care.
Bye-bye?
Oh yeah.
Bye.
Bye. So cute. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.